Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm excited because we're gonna talk about the tech stacks if you have ArchiCAD. So if you have ArchiCAD and you have always asked yourself, what types of licenses can I do to complement my workflow? This is the video for you. Here we're gonna talk about actually five different tech stacks that you can use, and in the you stay until the end, I'll give you my tech stack so you can really see what are people using. Here I have also divided between lean plus, business, premium, and of course these will be mine for individuals. And I will also break down the cost of how much are the licenses gonna cost you at the end of the year. So with that being said, if you like this type of content, let me know in the comments what type of content would you like to listen. And let's start with the first one. So if you're ArchiCAD, before we start, this is taking into account that you are just using ArchiCAD as the main modeling tool. So this is not taking into account if you're using SketchUp or Rhino or other tools. This is as you're just an ArchiCAD user and you just wanna learn about other tools that you can complement ArchiCAD with. And this is also assuming that you're already starting using ArchiCAD and you're a freelancer or small. This is going to be whether you're a freelancer, a small studio, or a big company. So let's start with the first one. So this one here, kind of going again, what are the best tech stacks for ArchiCAD? The number one will be the lean part. And this is like if you are a freelancer or you're a very small company and you really want to be cost efficient and get just most that you can from ArchiCAD. So of course the number one thing will be just to use ArchiCAD and not even use the Beam Cloud. If you're just a freelancer, you just use ArchiCAD, you do your own models. With ArchiCAD, you have access to a lot of tools like the AI visualizer that will give you some renderings. You have the BeamX tool that you can have some presentations with the client. And you also have the Cine Render will give you different renderings. They could be photorealistic renderings or it could be like sketch renderings. So you have these mainly tools that you will use even without, well, I guess with the Beam Cloud license, you will have BeamX, but you can still use other if you don't have the Beam Cloud license. But for this one here, I'm gonna assume that you have a Beam Cloud license. It also assumes that you're a small studio. So let's say that you have an ArchiCAD license, you have a Beam Cloud license. With that, you have these other resources here. But how else can you complement your workflow here? So here are the other things that you can use. So you can use DeFi or Twinmotion that are free. If you haven't done like $1 million in sales, so you're still a freelancer or a very small company, you can still use DeFi or Twinmotion for free. And they have the line sync connections with ArchiCAD, and you can get pretty decent renderings with these two things, along with creating animations from, bringing from ArchiCAD to DeFi or Twinmotion. So I think that's something you can do, and they're totally free as of right now. Now, if you go past $1 million, we'll discuss in the tech stacks of how much will it cost. But as of right now, I'm gonna assume that you're not paying for Twinmotion or DeFi. And for here, if you really want to be cost effective, you can use Adobe Acrobat, which you will not be paying an Adobe Creative license for that. Acrobat is free. You can use it as at least as the reader goes. So you will not paying for that. And you can use Affinity Photo, which this is great because it does kind of work a little bit like Photoshop. It does have the same capabilities, except that this is a one-time payment license. So you will pay it one time and that's it. And right now, if you want to pay Affinity Photo license, that's like $70. And now you own it for life, right? And then whenever you want to update to the new updates, then you will pay a little extra, but it's definitely a lot cheaper than if you want to get your own Adobe Creative license. So this will be the tech stack number one if you are a freelancer or a very small company and you really want to be like cost efficient. This is the lean stack for you: ArchiCAD, Beam Cloud, Twinmotion or DeFi, and then Affinity Photo and Adobe Acrobat. Now, again, we're talking about the best tech stacks, in my opinion, for ArchiCAD users. We're gonna go to tech stack number two, and this is what I call the Lean Plus. So along with this, again, we're assuming that you're using ArchiCAD, you're using the Beam Cloud, right, license too. And with here, What I recommend is really going a little bit, paying a little bit extra. Here we're gonna start using AI tools. So for here, you are gonna have the DeFi Pro version here. What I recommend about the Pro version is you have a lot more galleries and elements, and now you have some AI tools there that you can use to enhance your renderings. Along with that, you can also use a paid version of Twinmotion to, I think, have more capabilities. But I do think that for the price and the output that you get, DeFi is the better option. Along with this, we're gonna start adding Midjourney, right? Again, there's different options, but if you wanna, in my opinion, for the best tech stack or number two, I think you probably wanna be doing Midjourney or Cree AI or Ideogram, and all of them are about the same, $84 a year. So you can pick any of these three, which are great. I will also recommend to use something like ChatGPT. You can use Perplexity or Cloud, and I would recommend you to use the Plus version just because it's faster and it gives you also capabilities like the Sora and create little ChatGPTs here and GPTs here and there, and that's roughly like $20 a month, to say $20 annually. And oh yeah, and before that, I know that I'm screwing it up right now, but going back to tech stack number one, you would be paying $3,477 a year with this. Now, taking into account the affinity is only one-time payment, right? So you will be less eventually the next year just because of that. Whereas this one here, now we have ArchiCAD, we have ArchiCAD Beam Cloud, a graphics of Beam Cloud. We're assuming that you are paying for DeFi Pro, renderer. In this, you can also use really nice photorealistic renderings in that one. We're gonna assume that you are paying for a basic ChatGPT Plus license, and here we're gonna assume that here you're finally getting into Bluebeam, so you're gonna be using the basic version, the essentials, and you're gonna be using again just the individual license for Adobe Creative Lab, for Adobe Creative, right? In that case, the license here is roughly $432 a year. For Bluebeam Essentials, you will have been paying for the basic license $260 a year. So once we add all that for the Tech Stack Studio number two, you end up paying roughly $4,770 and $3,800 a year. Now, taking into account that this is not including taxes, so once you include taxes, you pay probably north of $5,000. So the difference is roughly $1,000 here, and this again mainly because you are actually paying for DeFi and the Adobe Creative license, and these are really the bulk of the 8,000. Really, this is less than $100, so I wouldn't really, well, $300. So this will be tech stack number two that I recommend if you, again, this will be mainly if you're a freelancer or a very small company.